Your body isn't tired. Your soul is. Not because you're weak, not because you're lazy, but because your mind hasn't stopped moving in days. Even when you rest, you're not really resting. You're simulating conversations. You're rehearsing future problems. You're scrolling through other people's lives just to escape your own. You overanalyze every message. You replay every mistake. You try to control everything that can't be controlled. And you wonder why you wake up exhausted even after 8 hours of sleep. It's not your job. It's not your life. It's not your body. It's your mind. And the fact that no one taught you how to turn it off. Ever feel like your brain has 37 tabs open and one of them is playing music, but you don't know which? You're not alone. Because in a world that rewards hustle and hyper-productivity, stillness feels like failure. But here's the truth. Your mind doesn't need more motivation. It needs a system to return to peace. And that's what this video is. 10 Stoic micro-practices to help you think less and feel more alive again. Stay with me, because by the end, you won't just quiet your thoughts, you'll finally start hearing yourself again. Let's be honest. Most people don't need another productivity tip. They don't need another book, another podcast, another hack. They need relief, mental space, permission to exhale without feeling like they're falling behind. So if your brain has felt like a battlefield lately, if you're tired of thinking about everything all the time, then this video is for you. Today, I'll walk you through 10 Stoic practices to help you detox your mind so you can finally feel clear without needing to disappear. These aren't rules, they're invitations, tiny shifts, small choices, quiet resets that you can return to whenever the chaos gets too loud. And at the very end, I'll show you the simplest mental reset I use every morning. It takes just 60 seconds, but has rewired my focus more than any app, journal, or life hack ever could. So stay with me, not to learn how to control your mind, but how to care for it. Like the quiet ally it was always meant to be. Meet Elena. She's not in crisis. She's not burned out, but every day she feels like she's running on fumes. It's not her work. It's not her relationships. It's not even her body. It's the constant thinking, a never-ending background noise of worries, planning, regrets, and what-ifs. She can't sit still. She can't focus. And silence. It feels louder than sound. So she distracts herself. Scrolls, multitasks, keeps busy, hoping that motion will quiet the noise. But here's what no one told her. A full schedule doesn't fix a cluttered mind. One day she's making tea, but she forgets she already poured water into the cup. She keeps pouring. Distracted, overthinking. The tea overflows, burns her hand, spills across the table. Not because the water was too hot, but because the cup was already full, just like her mind. Elena didn't break because she was weak. She spilled because she was overflowing. And maybe so are you. Practice 1, let go or be dragged. Some thoughts don't need to be healed. They need to be released. But most of us don't do that. We hold on. We cling to words we should have let go of years ago. We replay scenes that only ever hurt us. And somehow, we convince ourselves that thinking about it more will finally give us closure. But it won't, because rumination doesn't fix the past. It just poisons the present. The Stoics had a simple rule. Focus only on what you can control. That includes your attention, your energy, your mental space. You don't owe every memory a second life in your head. So here's a Stoic practice. When a thought comes up, ask, is this helping me move forward or just helping me stay stuck? If it's the second one, let it pass. Like a cloud, no resistance, no reaction, just a reminder. What you don't drop will eventually drag you. You're not weak for letting go. You're wise enough to stop carrying what was never yours to hold forever. Practice 2. 1 minute of silence a day. Sounds easy. But when was the last time you sat in total silence? and didn't reach for your phone, didn't open a tab, didn't run from the stillness? Because here's the truth, most people aren't afraid of noise. They're afraid of what rises up when the noise disappears. The Stoics knew this long ago. They practiced solitude, not isolation. Stillness, not stagnation. Marcus Aurelius didn't meditate in temples. He reflected between battles. He found stillness in the middle of war. So what's your excuse? Start small. Set a timer, just 1 minute. Sit, no music, no scrolling, no escape. Let your mind run wild, then let it settle, because silence is not the absence of noise. It's the space where clarity can finally speak. And you don't need an hour. You need a habit. You need a moment that reminds your nervous system you are safe even when nothing is happening. 1 minute of stillness can do more for your mind than hours of passive distraction. Try it, because sometimes the answer you've been begging for can only be heard when everything else goes quiet. Practice 3. Think less, perceive more. Overthinking feels productive. Like if you just analyze enough, you'll finally find peace. But most of the time, thinking more just means looping faster. You turn one simple truth into 100 possible outcomes. You turn a small doubt into a full-blown crisis, and then you wonder why your body feels like it's always in danger, even when nothing's wrong. The Stoics understood this trap. They didn't reject thought. They rejected distortion. Epictetus taught, it's not things that disturb us.
It's our interpretation of them. In other words, it's not the email that stresses you. It's what you think it means. It's not the silence that hurts. It's the story you write inside it. So what's the antidote? Stop the spiral. Start observing.
Look at what's actually happening, not what your fear is narrating. Are you unsafe or just uncertain? Are you unloved or just unheard? You don't need to shut your brain off. You just need to make it honest. Train yourself to notice before you judge, to breathe before you label, to perceive before you react. Because sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is look at the moment and say, this is just a moment, not a verdict, not a prophecy, just a moment. And moments don't need fixing. They just need witnessing. Practice 4. The rule of 3 decisions. Your mind wasn't made to juggle 500 decisions a day, but that's what most people force it to do. What should I wear? What do I reply? Should I speak up? What if I'm wrong? What if they think I'm too much? It never ends. And the result, mental burnout disguised as productivity. But the Stoics didn't live this way. They simplified. They made decision a spiritual act, not an endless burden. So here's a practice. Every morning, decide only 3 things that matter, that anchor you, that clear your mind. 1 thing you will do, 1 thing you won't entertain, and 1 thing you'll let go of. Example, today I will move my body. I won't scroll before noon. I'll let go of needing to reply instantly. Just 3. That's it. Because when you make too many choices, you lose clarity, but when you make the right few, you regain control. This isn't minimalism, it's mental sanity. The Stoics didn't try to do it all. They asked, what's in my control and worth my effort? Today, do the same. 3 decisions, no more. Let the rest fall away like dust, because real freedom doesn't come from doing everything. It comes from choosing what actually deserves your energy. Practice 5. Not every thought deserves attention. Your brain produces thousands of thoughts a day, but not all of them are truth. Not all of them are you. Some are echoes, some are fear, some are leftover programming from things you never chose to believe, but absorbed anyway. But here's the real problem. You don't just hear those thoughts. You entertain them. You argue with them. You let them settle as if they're guests you're obligated to feed. The Stoics saw this clearly. Epictetus warned, "Don't let the force of an impression carry you away." Translation: just because a thought shows up doesn't mean you owe it attention. You wouldn't open your front door to every stranger knocking at 3 a.m. So why do you do that with your mind? Here's your practice. When a thought arises, pause, ask, is this useful or just noisy? If it's useful, reflect. If it's noise, release. No drama, no spiral, just a quiet act of mental discernment, because not every mental guest deserves a seat at your table. And the longer you keep feeding thoughts that drain you, the less room you leave for the ones that could guide you. So start filtering. Start choosing, because clarity isn't the absence of thought. It's the presence of discernment. Practice 6. Less scrolling, more stillness. You don't just check your phone, you escape into it. Every quiet moment, you fill it. Every small discomfort, you numb it. Every pause in life, you swipe your way out of it, and you wonder why your mind feels so loud, even when the world around you is quiet. It's not overstimulation, it's over-avoidance. You're not tired from doing too much, you're tired from running from stillness. The Stoics lived in constant motion, but they never used motion to avoid presence. They practiced mental discipline, not dopamine chasing. So here's the challenge. Create one scroll-free zone in your day. It doesn't have to be dramatic. Just start with the first 30 minutes of your morning or the last 30 minutes before sleep. That's it. Let your mind land without being yanked by the next headline, video, or fake urgency. Because the more you scroll, the less you feel. The less you feel, the harder it becomes to connect with your own life. You don't need to throw your phone away. You just need to stop using it as a replacement for self-awareness. Stillness is not empty, it's full of answers that scrolling will never give you. Practice 7. Breathe like a Stoic. Sounds too simple, right? Just breathing, but most people don't even do that. They hold their breath. When they're stressed, they tighten their chest. When they're afraid, they clench their jaw while pretending everything is fine, and they never realize their body has been living in defense mode for years. The Stoics didn't talk about breath work the way we do now, but they knew that calm in the body is clarity in the mind. Seneca wrote, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." And what is imagination doing when your breath is shallow? It's building storms from small clouds. Here's your practice. Set an alarm twice a day, one in the morning, one in the afternoon. That simply says, breathe like you are safe. Because when you change your breath, you change your signal. And when your nervous system feels safe, your mind can finally stop scanning for war. Try this. Inhale 4 seconds, hold 4, exhale 6. Let the thoughts come, let the stress rise, but keep breathing. Like a Stoic, quiet, steady, unshakable. Because your breath isn't just survival, it's your built-in peace button. Practice 8. Stop fighting every battle. Not every offense needs a response. Not every disagreement needs a debate. Not every critic deserves your clarity, but if you're like most people, you're exhausted, not from life, but from trying to win fights that don't even matter. You defend yourself when no one's attacking. You over-explain to people who never wanted to understand. You carry tension from conversations you had 3 days ago. Why? Because your ego is afraid of appearing weak, but the Stoics taught the opposite. True strength is choosing which battles are worth your peace. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself, "You always own the option of having no opinion." Let that sink in. You don't have to engage, you don't have to react, you don't have to turn every slight into a war. Here's your practice. When you feel that pull to defend, pause, ask yourself, Will this matter in 6 days, months, or is this just a passing shadow I'm treating like a storm? Most of the time, the answer is silence, not because you're weak, but because you're strong enough to walk away without needing to prove anything. So stop chasing every insult, stop fixing every misunderstanding. Because the moment you stop fighting every battle, you'll realize how much of your peace was being spent on things that never deserved it. Practice 9. Slow down to clear out. We think the answer is speed, move faster, do more, think quicker. But speed without clarity is just chaos in disguise. You rush through your day with a crowded mind and wonder why nothing feels done. Even when you check every box, you confuse motion with meaning. But the Stoics didn't race through life. They walked with rhythm, with discipline, with awareness. They understood something most people miss. Your mind isn't messy because life is too full. It's messy because you never give it time to breathe between inputs. So here's your practice. Once a week, choose 1 hour. Slow everything down. No multitasking, no noise. Clean one drawer, fold one shirt, write one sentence, do one thing like it's the only thing. Because when your actions are slow, your thoughts begin to settle. When your body stops rushing, your brain starts releasing. Stillness doesn't mean you're doing nothing. It means you're doing one thing fully, present, without panic. And that's how you clear the fog. Not by thinking harder, but by living slower. Not forever, just enough to remember what clarity feels like. Practice 10. Empty your mind daily. Your mind is not a storage unit. It's not meant to hold everything. It's meant to process, to observe, to release. But you don't give it that chance. You go to sleep with unfinished thoughts. You wake up already reacting to yesterday's noise, and slowly, you start carrying every small tension like it's permanent until the stress becomes your normal, until the clutter becomes your personality, until you forget what it feels like to think clearly. But the Stoics didn't live that way. They practiced daily dumping, mental cleaning, spiritual unloading. Marcus Aurelius wrote pages to himself every night, not because he needed a journal, but because he needed space. So here's your practice. Before bed, write down everything. Not for Instagram, not to make sense, just to get it out. Write what scared you. Write what helped. Write what you want to leave behind before the sun rises again. Because if you don't empty your mind, it starts to rot. It festers. It misleads you into thinking that every thought deserves to stay, but they don't. You don't keep trash in your house, so why keep it in your head? Clarity isn't something you wait for. It's something you make room for, one quiet ritual at a time. So tonight, don't just scroll until you pass out. Give your mind what it's been begging for all day, a way out. So now you know, the mind doesn't need to be fixed. It needs to be freed, not from thoughts entirely, but from the ones that never served you. You don't have to become a monk. You don't have to escape to the mountains. You just need small moments where you decide to treat your attention as something sacred, because in the end, your energy isn't being stolen, it's being leaked by habits that feel harmless but drain you slowly. And this is your invitation to stop leaking, to stop flooding your inner world with unnecessary noise. The Stoics didn't meditate to feel spiritual. They practiced stillness to stay strong. They knew a calm mind makes fierce decisions. A clear mind becomes an honest life. So let this be your beginning. 10 practices, 10 small choices, one powerful shift. From overthinking to inner order. If this video gave you something to hold on to, subscribe. Let's build a life that's not just productive, but peaceful. Reflection challenge. What's one thought you're ready to stop recycling, starting tonight? Next video, discover how to stop emotional spirals before they hijack your day, using one 2,000-year-old Stoic phrase that still works better than therapy. And as always, Stoicism philosophy, clarity in the chaos, strength without noise, depth over distraction.